Hello there everybody and welcome back to another pro demo review, and in this episode we're going to be looking at the MVP of the Jönköping major, Jönköping, Sweden, Europe, however you want to frame it. It is of course Shaiiko. Let's jump into the demo, we'll get it rolling. Going to be watching this one back at 4:3 ratio, the native res that Shaiiko runs the game at, so we'll see the game the way he saw it. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. This is map 5 of the grand final against Team Liquid, so scores obviously 2-2 apiece. A lot of pressure heading in to this final map. Due to time zones, I think this game was at like 6 or 7 in the morning or something crazy. I didn't watch the game, or did see this map rather, so this is all fresh viewing. Not really sure what to expect. I've looked a little bit at some of the Siege GG stats, and I know that Shaiiko does pop off on this map, but I don't really know specifics. So I know how the game ends. I know that Shaiiko pops off in quite a few of these rounds, and across the grand final he went really strong as well. I think he went, have a quick look, sorry for the frame rate, he went 53 and 33 in this grand final, so plus 22, 10-4 entry. Man was absolutely cracked and had a 1.3 rating, far above the next best at Nesk on a 1.09. So clearly had a really strong game here. BDS starting out on the defense here on Skyscraper, probably the position you would want to find yourself on for a bit of stability. Ying, Zami, Dokkaebi, and Malusi ban on the board, so it might make defending a little bit more tricky. Also may allow the Nook to have quite a bit of an impact, and we'll see Nesk play that in the first round here. Not much action really at the moment. Liquid really just prepping for the attack. We saw the Ossa in play as well. But Shaiiko will obviously want to try and stay alive on the Warden as long as possible. He'll be a good counter against any potential flashes, etc. from the side of Liquid on the execute, or any smokes as well. Probably interesting, a little bit interesting that he is picking it with that Ying ban on the board, but nonetheless Warden has really strong fragging capability, so probably not something to be too worried about in the hands of Shaiiko. And with a minute to go, he's just played super passive, thrown it out for the first time. No one's holding the window here on Karaoke. Actually, there was someone on the window. I could not see that on the outline, but Shaiiko could. I was going to say I'd be surprised if there was no one on the window, and Shaiiko reads into that. Now the smokes are in place, so Liquid, despite, I would assume, they saw the Warden on that first drone rate, still elect to play it. Really good Nitro on the follow-up. Liquid trying to stack Karaoke here, but Shaiiko and BDS not really having anything of it, and putting it to rest pretty well. Shaiiko there gets a little bit overly aggressive, peeks into the line that we could see holding the top of the black stairs here to the northwest, but you would assume with not long to go, it will be a BDS round. We'll let it roll through, just because it is close to the end of the round. Shaiiko's still down, so could probably try and feed some sort of sound call. Bonus raining bullets, trying to find something, and BDS take round 1. Of course, Shaiiko is pretty infamous for, you know, good and bad reasons. And I think one of his best attributes, and is well known for, his raw mechanical skill, the Shaiiko lean, his ability to find picks and win straight 1v1s. But of course, in a competitive setting, in a grand final of a major, you can't always just rely on yourself to win one after one after one. There is going to have to be a lot of strategy and teamwork involved in finding picks, and that's kind of the thing I'm keen to watch in this game, to see how Shaiiko does approach the map, both on defense and attack, and how he goes about trying to put pressure on Liquid. Of course, BDS have gotten the first round. Shaiiko will stay on the MPX, this time on the Valk, so he's swapped out the Warden, given that to a Lems. Clearly a weapon that is quite comfortable on, makes sense. Absolute laser beam, so will suit his playstyle very well. Watching Vert currently drums down into that kitchen hallway, the hallway that leads to kitchen, but he'll fall off. And you can see that he's not playing particularly risky. Doesn't need to. It doesn't really make sense in the context of the match. He'll just hold his designated part of the map, which hasn't really been put under much pressure. At the moment, Liquid are forcing the breach open. A key part of this attack. Once that wall is open to the south, it exposes essentially the entire site. Makes it a bit of a pressure cooker for the defense. You can see BDS are trying to negate that by playing behind the bar. They've got a single reinforcement. Breeday's holding that at the moment on the Bandit. And Shaiiko to support in case Liquid flood site, try and go deep. The risk now will be if he gets cut off to the right-hand side, but there you go. Shuts down one player that does go deep, so that's well played. It's the Amaru shut down. I think maybe he came through the hatch. I think these outlines are a little bit buggy. Anyway, Montang now being used by Liquid to try and get this plant down, and Breeday can't deny. Impacts in hand there from Shaiiko. Trying to do some damage, and Lagonis is really low. I don't know how much information BDS have here. I can hear pings, so I'm assuming a little bit. Whether that be off the Velt cams or something else. Here's the shots behind. That's a clean shot. And again, just applying pressure on that Montang as a team. Liquid tried to force something there with the Amaru, but Shaiiko really is sharp. That's a pretty simple, straightforward 3k from him. And it's clear he's really sharp, and Liquid will be wanting to try and shut him down. Alright, on to round 3 now. So BDS going for the full rotation. Shaiiko jumping on defaults at the beginning of the round, so maybe indicating that he'll look to get a little bit aggressive and contest a potential entry. You can see BDS really leaning into a lot of this vert setup, and seen Shaiiko frequently hold that. He'll post up in Geisha for this round. Such an OG part of this map for me. Whenever I really think of Skyscraper, I think of Geisha. I don't know why. That certainly brings back some memories of the old Skyscraper and holding the exterior breach and... yeah, crazy times. You can see Shaiiko with the rotate main stairs as well, so he can look to be a little bit elusive in this position. And with Alems playing the mute, might be a bit tricky for Liquid to try and spot him out. That said, the first drone does. E1D from resets on the line. Looking to lock these roamers in position. Liquid don't really play off it though. I think again, just maybe finding it tricky to gain this information. Shaiiko just playing contact here. See if you can maybe spot an attacker, catch somebody off guard, and then Nook is lurking for an entry. With Rinshiro finding that first pick, Shaiiko now can either try and double down, find a second, 5v3, secure the ground, or opt to play a bit safer. Spot the Nook. Nitro expended. A little bit risky there. Probably wasn't going to find that pick. Nook able to escape and land some shots. You can see elsewhere Liquid have actually progressed downstairs pretty nicely, so that Nook has offered a really good distraction here for Liquid, who will probably be directly pressuring site in a moment, if not already. That call alerts Shaiiko to maybe go for the vert and see if he can pick something off or find some information, but none will be available. He's just so patient. I really expected Shaiiko to be that kind of player who's always running around, always super active, always trying to find a pick. But instead, really quite passive. The Nook allowed to sneak in though for 2. He just jumped straight in the double window. So perhaps Shaiiko a little bit too passive this round, but I don't think it was really his responsibility to be holding that part of the map where the Nook snuck through anyway. See if he can maybe go for a clutch. He has 1 shot. Really, 2 nice shots. I mean, MPX an absolute laser in his hands, but Nook doing some really good work, and Liquid able to finally get a round. Alrighty, round 4 now ready to go. So BDS don't win the full rotation. They were definitely primed to, and in fact that last round was pretty close if it wasn't for the Nook making quite a big play. So this round plays out. Again, Shaiiko posted up inside of Geisha. The secondary EMP from the Liquid will allow them to open up the wall quite easily. Secondary EMPs starting to creep more and more and more into the meta. And I think we'll see that eventually flow into ranked. I think Thatcher was still the most banned, or one of the most banned, alongside Jackal in the most recent designer notes. Go click the card, that's an easy plug. You can watch my reaction to that. But I think as the pros use it more and more and more, it will filter down. Such powerful utility. Does force Shaiiko off a little bit. Makes it a bit harder to hold Geisha at the moment. The uncertainty of anyone being outside the breach. You can see Liquid have already rotated off, but unless you have information looking outside, which in itself is tough these days, you're not really going to know that. And Shaiiko will focus his efforts now over towards Drum. Can hit some really nice shots on this angle. A little bit of a head glitch above the Drum itself. Quite an open setup though from BDS, so it's important that Shaiiko is really conscious of all the angles that he could be exposed to. You've got the vert, you've got the horizontal to the likes of the window and the breach, you've also got the Drum entry. If Liquid get a throne control as well, so many angles converging, but Shaiiko has the confidence to just swing and pre-fire, and 2 super nice shots. I'd argue Lagonis probably had the initiation there to win that shot, but still not able to win it out against Shaiiko, and that is just the danger of this guy. He can hit so many really clean, clinical shots, and even when Liquid go for pretty calculated trades, it's certainly no guarantee they'll be able to find them. Alrighty then, so we actually go downstairs for round 5 over towards bedroom, seeing its first appearance in this match. My personal opinion's quite mixed on this site. I think it has some potential, but I don't think it has much in the long term. It's one of those sites where I think once attackers are really clued in, it's going to be quite easy to exploit a lot of its weaknesses, and can be tricky for the defense to recover just due to the structure of the site itself. So we'll see how BDS go about trying to perhaps defy those odds. I do wonder what the stats are in terms of defensive win rate on this side. I'm really speaking more so from gut feeling than I am stats. Liquid begin by pressuring up above. Makes sense. Flush out a lot of the angles that look down the vert down towards the site for the defense, and then you can utilize them yourself as the attack, and that's why BDS are investing so heavily up above. I mean, you've got 3.5 players above, you've got Shaiiko jiggling the stairs. He'll now go back downstairs to maybe find an aggressive pick outside. And this might be an oversight from Liquid, although they've already opened the ball, they'll rotate off. They're probably focusing up now above, which makes sense. Shaiko's probably just playing outside, he's able to offer a little bit of sound. And goes for a peek, doesn't find anything. Time now is becoming a bit of an issue here for Liquid. And they actually do filter through, and Shaiiko sharp manages to find the ace. Lands some shots there, but survives. And I mean, his survivability so far in this match has been really impressive. In those 50-50 fights, he either wins it or he gets away with his life and feeds information. Good trade there onto Palu. A super dangerous player from Liquid to shut down. And yeah, the upstairs take there from Liquid. Unsuccessful. BDS having a really good structure there actually to win that round out. And again, Shaiiko really clean.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers. Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb. 10 seconds to go.
Alright, final round of the defensive half now for BDS. And a 4-1 scoreline often looks really strong for the team on the defensive side, but a 4-2 really changes that narrative quite a lot. The differentiation between a 5-1 half and a 4-2, for instance, can actually be quite large statistically, so BDS will be really, really hungry to get this round on the board and apply the blowtorch to Liquid, who have looked a little bit staggered on some of these attacks. Their trades haven't been great. BDS are finding themselves in really good positions and finding trades themselves, kind of dictating the pace of the game quite well. Shaiiko again over towards Terrace, so that's his assigned position. Great pre-fire there onto Lagonis. Doesn't quite find the head though, hits the shoulder. If he finds that pick there, it's almost round over, right? Would have been diffuser down, so a long time to rotate for someone to pick it up, and hard breach. Both of which are critical on this site. Well, diffuser any site, but exothermics for the main wall south are really critical. You don't want to put all that pressure now onto Palu. Either way, he survives. Sophia doesn't though. Oh, Shaiiko, my word, gets baited by the drone, but still flicks up for the shot. And has a nasty pixel angle into the back of T. That's going to be very tricky for the attack to find, but Liquid do trade it out. So that's really, really well played. You can see the position that Resets was in. Catches Shaiiko on the reload. That's really, really well played. I wouldn't mind watching that from yeah, Nesk's perspective. Let's see how difficult of an angle maybe this is actually to find. Alright, here we are. Nesk, let's see how nasty this angle was. And yeah, you can see that the visibility through that was just not great. And that's just due to the nature of how the map's laid out. But yeah, good trade there from Liquid. Shaiiko, however, does do a pretty good job. Finds a pick, wastes a bit of time. And at that point, it's a 4-3 heading into the execute for BDS. That round then was enough for BDS to claim a 5-1 lead at the switch of halves. Now, nothing can be taken for granted. Skyscraper, it's a major grand final. Literally anything can happen. Super important that you take it one round at a time. Take nothing for granted. And just put that first half in the back of your mind for now. Really focus in here. We'll see Shaiiko on the Yana in combination with recently buffed Sophia, one of the main entries in the game at the moment. Nades in hand, can also feed additional information with Geminis. So it can actually be quite a self-sufficient entry. Can gain a lot of that information himself and play off it pretty instantly. So we'll see what he sets up for in this round. Just waiting at the moment, I'm presuming to sync with somebody else. And it will be the Nook. But, whew, okay. Wow, let's watch that back from Nesk's perspective. So, the Nook of Liquefact was trying to, I think, dump a bit of utility on that position, distract Nesk out, but he has absolutely having none of it. And got a really nice 2k. So he's playing behind the shield. You can see the discs are catching up. Gets Grinshiro, really sharp for 1. If he holds down the line, maybe gets the 3rd, but did a really good job to get out. That's 2 quick picks. And yeah, that's Shaiiko getting out-dueled for probably the first time in this game. It only took, what, 7 rounds? But it is possible to take the man down. Things are really starting to heat up now. 5-2 the scoreline. Shaiiko back onto the Yana. He'll be looking to have more of an impact in this particular round. You can see so far 12-4-6. That's his KDA. He's doing a lot of work. And surprisingly, Liquid going to bathroom straight away. Got decimated on their own attack. See how they decide to defend it. Bit more of a horizontal sort of split. In terms of like Nesk's position near kitchen. Not as heavily horizontal like we saw from BDS, who basically stacked almost 4 players at a time up above. Like, different approach here. And we'll see BDS plays into it. Lagonis on the Capcan, his traps, or at least some of them, have been spotted. So hopefully that's been commed well and memorized by the attacking team. It's often easy to forget to comm it or ping it or whatever. And it's even easier to forget about it yourself. Never mind your teammates, because it's just a information overload when you're worrying about other stuff at the time. So we'll see what happens. On the topic of Capcam, does get the first pick in this round. And not in a tradable position. Although Shaiiko now feels the need to go for the trade and does. That snappy, really sharp shot, but then gets caught off guard by the trade, but then gets traded back. So some really good sync work there from BDS, and Bride backed his teammate in to win that. It's a little bit scared off the plant. You go for the stick. I'm kind of keen to just watch this round out for a little bit, see how it goes. Bride gets off for a second time, so a double bait leaves the Vigil in the 1 versus 2. Bride can't be traded by the sledge here, but he wins the 1. Just survives, and that is match point for BDS. Alrighty, into round 9. 6-2 the scoreline. BDS with a lot of opportunities here to close out the game in regulation, win the major. Shaiiko, I think, is really keen here to maybe go for an entry and make a play. Mindful of the frost in play, drones that out, sees it's clear, will spot 2 players. Cooks a nade, so they're looking to utilize the utility before he enters. Actually, there was a frost mat, so he did spot it. And he definitely spotted the head there of the Warden. Really nice pick. Would have found the second, but Alems chips in. Then gets traded out, so Reset's able to actually catch Shaiiko out of position there a little bit. He was just sneaky on his front desk position. wasn't being pressured. I think the sledge was perhaps just a little bit too slow there. And yeah, Shaiiko caught off guard, and in fact the trade not immediately found there by BDS. Alright, Liquid continuing to fight on in this game as we head into the double digits, round 10. Shaiiko again doing quite a bit of preliminary drone work here. And I believe it's karaoke for this round. One thing as well that really stood out to me in the stats for this game, Shaiiko, a 67% headshot ratio. Insane, miles ahead of anyone else in the lobby. And that is a testament to his mechanical skill and being able to position himself in so many just winnable positions, where the odds of him winning the fight, even mechanics aside, are significantly higher than his opponent. A testament to the team's positioning and coordination as well. It's a good entry here on Shine. Doesn't look like the deployable shield's being operated this time or monitored closely. It was Nesk last time, remember, that got that 2k, but Shaiiko will make doubly sure that it is clear this time with the Gemini. Rotero as well to help some of that site util. We'll see how he looks to position for this entry. He's got a couple of options. He could try and sweep black late, or try and head into T. This shield can also be used to the way of the attack now. It's not the most optimal shield ever, but could be used if required. And he's being given quite a bit of free reign at the moment. No one from Liquid directly contesting the doorway. Nade through the drone hole, gets caught. Still has one more. And that one I don't think does too much. 40 seconds now though for BDS. They got stalled out a bit by those smoke canisters. A wallbang opportunity goes astray there. Shaiiko, decent game sense, but just off the mark. Now that angle could be used against him. He survives, but spotted on the entry. That play doesn't win the trade, and now it's really just about a war of attrition. Shaiiko trying to find as many picks as possible. Hyper aware for 2. Though the player on the stairs, that's Palu. So dangerous from Liquid, able to slowly bring the round back. And I think Lagonis, yeah, Lagonis able to flank. And Liquefact not in a position to trade. So Palu there up the stairs, causing a lot of damage. Shaiiko did great on the entry, did as much as he could, and did flush the players out on sight. But unfortunately, the rest of the team just got picked apart a little bit. And this is going to go one more round. Alrighty, 6-4. Round 11. Can BDS close out the map? 16-7-6 for Shaiiko at the moment. Really good drone here inside of kitchen. Can spot players from the hallway. Could even facilitate a pre-fire here, maybe on to the Frost. Don't know how risky that would be on land. Probably not ideal, but it does provide support for the grenade, and they play off it straight away. Liquid forced back towards site. Not the most ideal of rotations. Shaiiko picks off another. Keep in mind, this is the objective itself, so Liquid are so far away. Brede able to go for the plants. No one on the vert was able to deny 4 versus 1, 4 versus none. Just like that. How quick of a round was that from Shaiiko to win the frickin' major? I need to watch that back. So good nade. Rinshiro there onto resets from Shaiko's drone. Then has the presence of mind. Players are going to start flanking from pantry. They don't really have any other option. Good pre-fire there onto Nesk. Brede goes for plant, so even more pressure now on Liquid to fall back. Make sure no one's coming down main. Here's another one coming pantry. That's the double. Then gets the third with the flick. I mean, this guy on a whole nother level. 1.3 rating. 55-33. Had an absolutely incredible grand final series. This map, no exception. Had a lot of fun watching this one. Like I said, didn't get to catch it live. Never mind from Shaiko's perspective, as the replays only just came out. So, yeah, wow. That was really entertaining. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. What do you want to see? I need ideas. I'm not that creative. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.